Commission. My name is Peter Brockman. I'm an attorney here with an office at 77 Narragansett Avenue. And I represent the applicant, Mark Smith. This is a Subdistrict A application. It is a vacant lot of 21,600 square feet. We are proposing to construct a 3-bedroom house on the lot and install a new OWTS. We're seeking review by the Planning Commission, just as the prior applicant, in order to proceed to the zoning board and seek a special use permit. I won't go through everything that should be in your packets. I assume it's all there. The only thing that may not be there is the town engineer's memo of May 10th. Do you have that in your packet?
There's that.
Okay, great. As you can see in that memo, there was no great concerns. There was a recommendation regarding the rain garden, and I've spoken to the applicant. He's certainly willing to go ahead and comply with that recommendation. So, Michael Darbo is the professional land surveyor who prepared the site plan that you have and the stormwater management plan that you have. He is here tonight. The applicant, Mark Smith, is back here. He can answer any questions that you may have of him. But we'll start with Mike Darbo.
We'd like to qualify Mr. Darbo as an expert witness. Now, Mr. Darbo has been here on a number of occasions recently. So we are going to dispense with the qualifications that everybody's agreed. Yes, Michael made a motion to qualify Mr. Darbo. Is there a second?
Second.
Nancy, second. All in favor? Thank you, Mr. Darbo.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Darbo, can you just describe the current existing conditions on the lot briefly?
It's a vacant wooded lot.
And what about the grade of it?
Well, the grade of, the property fronts on 3 streets. Ship Street, Starboard, and Blue is the same plans. The grade, there was a drop of Bowie Street, approximately assumed elevation of 100 to an elevation of 90, about 10 feet over on Ship Street, with, which is about 10-foot drop and about 240 feet with the distance.
And
5% or so.
And you've got the site plan in front of you. If you can just briefly go over the site plan and proposed improvements.
The applicant has proposed a 3-bedroom dwelling on the property as shown on the site plan. The roof area of the dwelling is the 1,680 square feet, which is 7.8% of the total lot area, which puts us under the 8% required with the zoning ordinance. The site has a number of water tables that were done on site and adjacent to the site near the property lines. In the area, as I show here, where the septic system is to be located, there were 2 test holes that were performed soil evaluations that determined a 14-inch water table. There were a couple of other test holes, test hole A and test hole B, as shown on the plans, that had water tables from 4 to 6 inch. So there's a high water table in that area. There's a couple of test holes that were done immediately adjacent to the property by the neighbor, which at 12-inch water tables. These are at the same elevation, or close to the same elevation as where we're proposing our drainage system. So we've used that 12-inch water table as an elevation for part of our drainage system. The building itself, I state, is 1,680 square feet of roof area. There are some decks that will be pervious without any, or covered without subterranean roofs and so forth, so those weren't included in the calculations. There won't be anything impervious underneath that. There's a few bump outs and jogs and so forth on different parts of the building, and that provides for different areas of a roof to be sloped into different areas that we're going to collect the stormwater runoff into 5 separate sub-areas that I call them. In essence, instead of trying to collect everything into one large either infiltration system or a large rain garden that in essence would probably be a detention basin, we've broken it up into the 5 areas. A couple of reasons. Number one, to try to reduce the main impact all in one location, so it's not a concentrated area that will be infiltrated into the ground and will run off someplace else. It also minimized the amount of fill that was needed for the property, so we've minimized how much fill we would need for the site because of the infiltration and stormwater controls. So in essence, the 5 areas that have been proposed, as shown on the site plan, 2 of the areas, A and D, are infiltrator systems in a bed configuration that will infiltrate into the ground. They've been designed according to the town requirements for a 10-year, 24-hour storm event. When we did this drainage calculations, it was based on the infiltration, void areas within the infiltrated units itself, whatever those storage capacities of those units are, have been included in the calculations. The figure is just deliberate, it's a measure, safety measure. If you happen to have a peak in a storm event where you may have a little bit more than a 10-year storm or something like that, that would be able to store it and have a little bit of a safety factor, I guess. Every one of the areas is also over-designed in the sense that if we needed an infiltrator to handle X amount of cubic feet and they handled a little bit more, well, we always went a little extra. So that we always went to the next available number of units for the infiltrator system, as opposed to trying to really sneak out and put a little extra stone to make it just work exactly. We just went to the extra one, just again, as a little bit of a safety factor. So the System A will collect the runoff from the rear of the building into 6 infiltrator units into a bed configuration which is 9 feet wide by 11.5 feet long, as shown in the rear of the building. Area B is just a small roof overhang that is 31 square feet. It's just a little bay area from a bump out, and that will go into the void areas of the crushed stone driveway. And that is about double, just the void areas of the crushed stone driveway is about twice the amount of capacity that's needed. And a note on that, it's the amount of stone that's above 12 inches above the water table. Some of the stone, because that's an area where the water table is about 4 inches to 6 inches, we made sure that's only the stone above the 12-inch, which is your requirement, to be 12 inches above the water table. So that's that void area and that stone area that we've used there. Area number 3, or area C, let's say, is a small rain garden, which will be at the northwest part of the property, or at the intersection of Ship and Starboard. And there's a small berm that will be proposed to collect the runoff from that area of the roof, and some plantings so that it will be infiltrating into the ground, into a small rain garden, again, into the corner of the site, so that we didn't have to put a lot of fill in that area for another infiltration system. If we would have put in an infiltration system, would have been more fill, more disturbance, and so forth, so we tried to minimize that area. The last 2 areas, one of them is a covered entrance over the front door, and there are planting beds underneath some of the decks in the front of the property, and that is just going to sheet flow from the roof into the planting beds and be absorbed into the planting beds and infiltrated for the plants and so forth.